So we now do indeed enter into this mid-term of our Lenten journey, the third Sunday of Lent. A few days ago, I trimmed back a Dracaena plant that was growing up under my carport and rubbing on the roof of the carport. I kept the offcuts that I'd cut, and a few days later I planted the cuttings into a large pot in the backyard. I filled it with soil and I inserted the cuttings into the pot, hoping that it will take root and grow, as these plants always seem to do. But then I didn't do that and simply walk away, because I added then slow release fertiliser to the soil in the hope that that will give some encouragement for the plant to grow. And then I watered it in quite significantly and set about to wait and see what would happen in the days and weeks that would be ahead. I'm hoping with all of this care and attention that I will indeed produce a new plant reaching up to greet the warmth of the sun into itself. But I can but just wait and see. It seems that this is the image about which Jesus had spoken when he told the parable of the fig tree. It was not producing the expected fruit, but the gardener stepped in and offered to provide the care and attention that would be necessary for this tree to be successful. Next year, the gardener said, come and see. Come and see what has happened. The image of that fig tree and my own gardening exploits are perhaps images of our own church community. This community to which we belong has been gifted and nourished by God to produce the fruit that is expected of us and of this church to which we belong. For this to occur, then, it's important for us as church members to do all that we can to enable our own fig tree, our community, to grow and to produce the fruit that can indeed be achieved. But then, like the fig tree in the parable, and even perhaps like my own feeble attempt at striking a Dracaena into a new and effective plant, for the church to which we belong to grow, it requires that same care and attention, and it requires it from us. As I was thinking about this situation the other day and reflecting upon the commitment required from that gardener in the story to enhance the life of the fig tree, I began to wonder just what role we play in enabling our church to continue to grow. There are times perhaps when we are that fig tree, needing the care and attention to help us reach our full potential. But at times we can also be the gardener, attending to the needs of our church or fig tree so that it can grow and reach its full potential. But then, as I thought about this, I began to wonder. There may also be times when we are the fertiliser, the manure, as the Gospels talk about. We are the nourishment that is added to the life of our church to enable it to grow and to reach its full potential. Whatever the role we undertake, it's always important for us to do the best that we are able, and so give our church, our community, every possibility at bursting forth into the life that is contained within us. Whether we are the tree or the garden, or even the fertiliser that nourishes our tree of life, it's important for us to find ways to enable that life to continue to grow and to become that image of God as church that we are meant to be. So at this point, once again, I venture forth into what you would be aware of as the parish strategic plan. It may be through this process, this planning for our future, that we do indeed enable our tree of life, our tree of faith, to continue to grow. But what will we do? And what will we be in this process of nurturing and caring for this church to which we belong? The gardener certainly entered into the commitment of care in the hope that the fig tree would indeed produce the fruit that was required of it. By our own commitment in faith, it may be possible that we too can enable our faith community to continue to grow and to produce the fruit that can be produced because of all that we endeavour to achieve. Within our commitment to the life of our church community, we can be successful. Because of us, because of our willingness to play our part, our church can indeed grow and be effective. So again, perhaps the question still stands for so many of us. What will we be? And what will we do as committed members of our faith community? There are many roles that have been highlighted in our parish strategic plan. There are the ministries of outreach and care, some of whom here are a part of, St Vincent de Paul and other ministries of care. There are ministries involved in the life of our church as readers, as ministers of communion, and as PowerPoint operators. There are also the ministry of outreach to the community, as people come along to prepare the grounds of our church, as happened yesterday for 2 hours or more. All of these are a part of our parish strategic plan. We have our ministry of welcome and hospitality, those who stand at the door of our church to show the world the face of our church and the face of Christ. So there are many ways for all of us to play our part in bringing to life even more this church to which we belong. By our commitment to these ministries, we can be effective in what we do and what we achieve. Give me time, the gardener had said in the parable. Let me work with the tree. Let me care for it, nurture it, and nourish it. And then let's see what happens. So too with our church community. By our commitment in faith, we can enable our church to grow and to become a sign to the world of the presence of God through us. Give me time, we can say. Let me care for it. Let me nourish it. Let me nurture it. And as time goes on, let's see what can become of this church to which we belong.